when we look at climate change and the realities of it, it's scary in a lot of ways. What do you think will get us out of this? And do we have a chance?
Lands attack. Let's drink.
Yep.
All right.
Let's attack.
Cheers.
Combination of technology, like Lanzatech, of all of the technologies that I've been engaging with here.
Yeah.
Xavier, what you're doing in Africa. What, Jen, what you're doing with wind. All of the renewables,
Yeah.
efficiency, then regenerative agriculture.
Mm-hmm.
We know how to roll climate change backward.
And what do you mean by that? Can you explain that?
We were talking this afternoon. He said, how high do you think we're going to go? Over, under, or up, where are we going to go?
Yeah.
And we'll go above 2 degrees C. The amplifications. You know, when you melt the Arctic ice, it darkens the land. If you warm the permafrost, you start emitting more methane. You start looking at the amplifications, it gets really scary. And this is what right now, today, is freaking out the scientists in Marrakesh, because this election means everything's going to slow down. We've been on a insufficient but better path toward climate protection than we have been in years past. And that's going to slow.
Yep.
And so it is going to be tough. The 65 million refugees now on the move are largely because of climate change. The war in Syria, yeah, there are all sorts of religious and ethnic tensions, but it's aggravated by 40 years of drought.
Yeah.
The farmers can no longer stay in the rural areas, they come to the cities, all hell breaks loose. This is all going to get worse.
Yeah.
And we now have millions of refugees, we will have billions of refugees. We've known all of this for a long time. It's all been preventable. We have not prevented it. But we know that grasslands are the world's second largest carbon sink. Grass per weight has 40 times the carbon of a tree.
Wow.
So everybody's, oh, let's plant trees. No, let's manage grasslands better. When the pioneers first headed west out of here and hit the Great Plains, they had 10 feet of thick black soil. It's now down to inches. That black was carbon, and it was put there by the co-evolution of grasslands and grazing animals. When animals dense pack because there are predators around, so the safe place to be is in the middle of the herd, everybody's trying to get there. They eat everything, chop up the soil, fertilize it, and then move on. And as you eat grass, the roots slough polysaccharides, sugars, and that feeds the fungal community, the biotic community in the soil, which fixes carbon. Over the years, this built it up. How fast can we do it? So, a farmer named Gabe Brown, corn soybean farmer outside of Bismarck, North Dakota, good old boy, going broke, trying to do industrial agriculture. So he switched to no-till, didn't break the soil. When we started plowing the soil, turning it upside down, we decarbonized it. When we poured all sorts of nitrogen fertilizer on it, the natural biological community that would fix nitrogen from the atmosphere lost interest and went away. So we were denitrifying the soil. Both of those were contributing to climate change. If you stop breaking the soil, you stop that. Then he planted cover crops, crops that take nitrogen out of the air, fix it into the soil. Then he introduced animals, grazing animals, cattle, sheep, he went from 1.3% soil organic matter on some of his plots to over 11% within about 10 years. That's carbon in the soil. So the action of the animals on the soil is enabling the health of the biological community. That is fixing the carbon, pulling carbon out of the air, putting it back in the soil. Do that over all the world's grasslands, and you start to roll climate change backwards. Over 30 years, if we did it on all the world's grasslands, now that's a big if,
Yeah.
you could get back to 280 parts per million concentration of CO2 in the atmosphere, which is the pre-industrial level. So that's the opportunity. Will we do it that fast? No, probably not. That's a big if to do it on all the world's grasslands. But doing it enhances the productivity of the soil, so it's profitable.
Yeah.
And as we all know, if you can make a profit, business is interested in it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So eat more beef. The right kind of beef. Holistically managed grass beef.
So you look at climate change. You're optimistic about where we're eventually going to get.
I think humanity will make it. I'm sentimental about this human experiment. You know, all of the great philosophy, poetry, the sorts of interactions that we're able to create here in a 15-day period. Humans are amazingly wonderful creatures. We've misdefined who we are. The neoliberal narrative that has been driving humanity over a cliff is that we're greedy, individualistic bastards. We care only about ourselves and we care only about money. Is that true of any of you?
No.
Or you wouldn't be here. And if it turns out it's not true of humans in general. Dr. Paul Lawrence has studied human psychology. It turns out, he says, we have 4 drives: the drive to acquire and the drive to defend. The neolibs got it right about that. But he says there are 2 other drives that are inherent in who we are as human beings: the drive to bond and the drive to comprehend. We're curious creatures. We love solving puzzles. We love entrepreneuring. And we love bonding, because when we came down out of the trees in Africa, we were naked, our claws were fairly inadequate, our teeth weren't worth much. We survived because we bonded. We formed tribes, and we worked together. So Lawrence and the other evolutionary biologists say, in our DNA, who we are is this drive to bond. We are the ones who survive. And therefore, this is in who we are as human. So I think we need a new narrative of what it means to be human, what it is we want, why we entrepreneur. We need to build an economy in service to life, which is what y'all are doing. So thank you.
Hunter, I'll drink to that.